Hey guys, probably nobody watching this right now because I set the premiere to be weeks ago. Actually, I was planning to do this much earlier in September, but then things got really busy at work, and today's a public holiday, so I decided to do this. Um, so what this is about is I recently got one of these Pocket Master things. I bought the one that looks pretty much like the old Nintendo unit. So for those who don't know, um, the creators of Pocket Master, the Sonic Cake company that the uh, the 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 CEO, I guess, when I've watched his interview on Yamaguchi-san's um, interview, he really likes games, anime stuff, and whatnot. So you have different colors. Some of these are colored after Nintendo units. Some of them are colored after Evangelion, like which is like a popular anime, and other things like it looks almost like a Game Boy Advance kind of thing. Anyway, I thought it was kind of cute. These were on sale, so and I think Brian was also doing a giveaway on these and promoting these as well. So I thought, might as well get one just to play around. It's actually a pretty decent unit for the size and the weight. It fits really nicely in a gig bag, which means that you can just carry this around in your gig bag. And if you're at, say, like an open mic and you want to use your own tones, all you need to do is just plug this in and you're good to go. Especially with the types of venues I go to, which are rather small, and it's easy to manage. I can just kind of stick this near with two TRS cables, going into the DI, which every studio or every live house has, and just go through the front of house speakers. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to run through all of the presets. Now, I know a lot of people, when they look at these digital things, they go, "Oh yeah, the presets suck and whatnot." Um, the the reality is, though, a lot of people buy these and they never really tweak the presets; they just how to use them. And so, I what I've come to realize is that when people now I tweak a lot and I buy a lot of plugins. So, for example, like for my Tonex, my Helix, and for my what do you call it, the QC stuff. I buy all these devices, but I also buy a lot of presets, um, and some of them, some of these devices, for example, my Tonex. Now, not on the pedal itself, but for the software, I have over 2,000 presets in there, just because, for example, just 1,000 and something of those come from Tone Junkies packs. I have other packs from different makers. Tonex themselves, I buy some of the artist packs, and so some days I'm just scrolling through packs and packs and not really doing much, but just playing with tones, right? Which is kind of what a lot of us do. But that being said, when you have one of these devices, you might not really want to spend all that much time. I mean, you will tweak it a little bit just to add an effect here or there, but um, if the tones that come out of the box don't sound good, you're probably not going to really want to use it either. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run through all of them just so you have an idea of what kind of tones are available and what you can do with this device. And without further ado, here we go. So preset number one is the Pocket. Oh, by the way, I have the phone app here as well, just so um, I figured out how to use this on the keys, but it's just so much more intuitive with the phone app, and you can see what it is. So, oh, this is not the. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to go back to the factory presets first. Oops. Connect. Okay. So the factory presets one. So what they give you as their factory preset one is a Bogner sounding thing. I'm playing a an American Pro 1 Jazzmaster. So this is the older version without the panoramic tremolo. It has the older version of the, what do they call these? The V-Mod pickups, I think. Anyway, the reason I like this one is because it sounds kind of Jaguar-ish with the pickups. It's an intro to a Bees song, which is a really famous band here in Japan. The reason I chose that is just because they use Bogners, or the guitarists used to. It's got that typical thing where people put onto a digital unit, heavy delay, distortion tone. It doesn't sound. I mean, I've heard ones that are a lot more digital than this, and this is kind of like in between, which is okay. I mean, it's not my favorite, but. Okay, so the next one's a Sweet OD. What does this one have? Let's see. This one is supposed to be a Tweed Deluxe with overdrive. This one's okay. I mean, it's pretty responsive in terms of it's touch sensitive. Than I like. So as you can see, I like really jangly and twangy kind of not twangy, more like piercing trebles kind of thing, which is why I gravitate towards lower output pickups. And I used to hate single coils, but now that's kind of my thing. So it could be a little bit. I would tweak it just so that it accentuates the trebles a little bit more, but otherwise it's pretty usable. clean. Sorry, I have my phone kind of off on auto. Oh, by the way, featuring today, one of Ubi's mugs. This one's supposed to be a dark twin. I would assume that means it's a black-faced twin. Let's see what kind of IR they give you. So it's a 2x12. Okay, that's right. Let's see how it sounds. Pretty good clean sound. So I think this is probably one that you'd use as kind of your starting point if you needed anything clean, like if you wanted to do like, I don't know, like 80s chorusy cleans kind of thing, you would start with this one and just add a chorus to it. Neo Soul. What is this one? This one, jazz chorus. Okay. This one to me it's a little bit too compressed in terms of what are they? Okay, so they put a tube screamer in front. I think it's probably because the way they set the tube screamer. It's just not the way I would do it myself, but it's usable, I guess. But it's switch to the wrong app there. Although I think this one's probably designed more for onlookers. I mean, I can go over single coils, it's a little bit lacking, but it's still got that compression that you would expect if you had like more powerful pickups, which I don't like. But some your mic may vary with that. UK metal, I assume this is Marshall. So it's got a tube screamer plus J7800 sound. It's got that, how should I put this? It's a generic Marshall sound. I recently downloaded a pack from Tone Junkie where he modeled a hold on, let me just search online. I'll show you maybe I can show you the link, or sorry, the screenshot of this. Tone Junkie. It's the Jose 100 pack. Now, I don't think let me just do a window capture here. Properties. So it's this pack right here. Let me just see if I can bring this up to the top. Show you guys here. Oh, not this. Okay, let me just Jose. So depending on which device you want, so let's just say the Neural Amp Model, it's this pack. So he says it seeks to recreate a very special amp inspired by some of our most famously modded Marshalls ever, blah blah blah. And he goes into talking about how if you watch the video where he released this, it's obviously not a multi-channel amp, but he did different captures of it. He did 4 different voicings. This sounds very Marshally. So and he has a sale going on. So if you need like a coupon code, just go to the top of his page. You can get these for like $10 or something like that. But they're very, very, very good sounding Marshall models. Whereas, let me just close this first. Okay, so this one sounds Marshally, like when you do like. It does that thing, right? Like it has that crunch to it, but it doesn't. There's a certain thing where, like, especially like if you use single coils and you put it into their Marshall, it should have a little bit more of a tubular sound. Like I don't mean like tubes as in tubular as in tubes. It has that kind of thing where it's almost like you're whistling through, like a long metal pipe type of tube thing. It doesn't have that, like with single coil. So But it does have the crunch. And I like how it's not set to kind of, Slayer levels yet. I mean, they have other things for that. It's probably not really thrash type either. Like it didn't. You can probably do it, but it'll sound kind of weird. A little bit too hair metal-y for that. Twiggy Blues. So this is probably some kind of a tweed. Let's see, what is it? Tweed Deluxe. Comparing this to kind of like the lower end units. Obviously, the Tone X, QC, Helix, all that stuff. Helix, I would take back, because Helix, you can actually drive it to a way where it doesn't sound pleasing. But that's not because it's a bad unit. It's because by design, Helix gives you the flexibility to basically go beyond what you want to hear. A lot of units don't do that. They kind of push you into a window of basically where your options are to vary the tone is within a window, within a spectrum of pleasing sounds. Helix doesn't do that. Helix basically says, go ham with it, do whatever the hell you want. If you want everything to sound like crap, you can make every single note sound like crap. If you want everything to sound really good, you can do that, and everything in between, right? What this unit does is, if you even if I'm playing really loud, it doesn't do the kind of speakers crapping out type of sound. So they've compressed everything to the point where it's within a usable spectrum. I think that's probably the way to go for these types of units. But that being said, it means that if you want that unexpected spike in the in your monitors to kind of just go, oh, this is like the sound of like a broken speaker kind of thing, this doesn't do it, right? Rock Stage. What is this? Another GSM 800 sound. Let's see what this is. Okay, so this one. I think they use the JCM 800 model, but I think they're just going for more of that plexi type of sound. There's some effect going on here. What is this? Okay, they have a chorus going on. This is good. This one I like, because this one really brings out kind of like that single coil brightness. Has a little bit of that, blowing up your speakers type sound. So if I go, it doesn't crap out, but it does have that kind of breaking up type sound. So this one's pretty cool. Rockstage FO7. UK Invasion. What is this? This is a Vox type sound. So if you've watched the video on the factory tour, apparently the guy who runs this company is like a Vox freak. He's probably bought every vintage Vox amp out there available. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not a big Vox fan, so I'm not sure how this represents a Vox. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but it's just not my thing. G-Force. So I guess this is the pedal platform type sound. So it's dark twin with a tube screamer in front. This is actually pretty good. It's not as much gain as, it doesn't go through the full spectrum, but what it does do is it does the gain staging thing pretty well. So if I turn down my volume a little bit, it's very clean. Fender Twin style clean. Now I'm into kind of like the crunchy kind of edge of breakup type tone. And then if I switch over to my like neck pickup, all the way, volume all the way now. So this one's a very nice one. I'm finding that this unit in general, the clean plus a pedal drive kind of thing, it does it a little bit better than the straight up kind of metal high gain tones so far. That mimics the Kyoto Jam song that Matez Sato did. Let's see what they're doing here. It doesn't really sound like it, but it's supposed to be a soldano with OD, so this doesn't sound like a soldano to me. It's not focused enough. So to me, a soldano has like a more focused tone. This doesn't have that. I'm not sure if it's the setting or if it's the way they set the tube screamer. This one's okay, but it's, again, when they do their high gain stuff, there's a little bit of, I don't know, it's just lacking in dynamics. And some of the harmonics from what I would expect from this guitar is not coming out. Cool Jazz. Okay, let's see what this does. Amp, jazz chorus. Okay. I guess you can't really do wrong with a Roland jazz chorus. That's literally like a transistor clean amp, right? So it's, for lack of a better word, that's the amp that should have absolutely no tone, and you just add whatever tone you want to it, because all it does is it literally just electrically amplifies your signal in the cleanest way possible. So even if I went straight to the board without plugging in anything and post EQ it, that should still get me within the ballpark of a JC120, right? That's, at least in my mind, that's kind of how it should work. So this is okay. I mean, it doesn't color it or do anything weird. Of this actually comes through. I have my mic on right now, so I'm just going to turn my mic off for just this part so I can listen back to it to see how much it picks up the. Now, because it's an electric guitar, it's not really supposed to pick up like a whole bunch of tapping and thumping without how should I put this? It doesn't have that same ring as if you did it on, say, an acoustic, but it should still at least have some of it in terms of the rhythmic part of it. So that the part where it's effectively just a string moving against the magnet. So let me just pad my mic here. So that's just for my own reference. I'll go back and check that later. Coarse clean. Okay, so this is what it is. I mean, you want this type of tone. There's always a use for this tone, so I'm glad they included this. I think every single unit has this coarse tone, coarse clean. It's almost like a must. Next, flange wah. FL, at least that's what I think it is. Yeah. Oh no, it's a filter touch wah. So I wonder what this does. Oh, interesting. So it's an auto wah. interestingly here, if you look at the app, it says mode guitar, so they can do it for bass as well. So I guess you can do like a bass type, you know. But you know, obviously I'm not using bass. I'm not much of an Ottawa guy. It's fun sometimes, but I've never had to use one of these things. Sweet tremolo. I'm going to turn up my speaker volume just a bit because I'm using headphones today. But stuff like this bugs me a little bit with most presets and units, and I'll tell you why just in a bit. Okay, this one's actually not too bad. Okay, this one's actually okay. The thing that bugs me sometimes when a lot of these companies add presets is they do these really wet ones, and you lose the picking attack. So yes, maybe that's what the effect calls for, but when you play it, you don't feel that you're playing it because the effect comes a little bit after, but you don't hear the attack of your note, and that really bugs me. So I don't use a lot of stuff where it's like phasing and flanging and you know, you're playing and then the note kind of gushes in afterwards. That's not the thing. Like I'm just not into that kind of stuff. But this one's okay. This one you actually play the note and then the tremolo follows afterwards. CB Blues. What's this? Butter OD, I don't know what that is. I assume that's probably like the Boss OD1. Into a jazz chorus. They do this really well with kind of like the clean gain stage type thing. So again, I can like just roll down. Yeah, that sounds like a OD1. So this one's nice. OD ping pong. Okay, so this one, it's okay because again, I still have the attack. How many seconds did they set this for? This is pretty slow. So this is almost exactly like the last patch, but just with a delay. Okay, so if you like playing with ping pong delays, probably have to like go into the thing here just to dick around with the time. It's 230 milliseconds right now, which is pretty slow. Fuzzball. Okay, so this one's gray fuzz. I assume that's some kind of rat. High gain ENG power. So it's they're putting a fuzz on top of an Ingle Powerball. That actually sounds pretty good. It's not as dirty as I want it to be, especially with something like this. Let me just switch guitars quickly. I have one that's much more brighter than this. This one's not tuned to E. So that one was tuned to E flat. This one's E. So with these pickups, it'll do that kind of really grainy, dirty thing, which is good. But these are really bright pickups, so I usually don't use this one that much. Even though I like the bright sound, but that one is like overly bright. It's almost like underwhelming. So what was okay? So that was the Ingle HB drive. What do we have here? High gain Flyman B+1. Okay, and with a JP distortion. I don't know why you would put a distortion in front of a BE 100, but here goes. This one, they kind of went a little bit too over the top with the distortion pedal, like to the point where it's so compressed that if you listen to the kind of like the middle position and the bass position or the neck position, there's no real difference. That's treble, and here's middle, and here's the neck. It's because it's so compressed. They've basically taken out the subtle difference. I mean, there's still a very, very small difference, but it shouldn't be that subtle. Like they're, especially like on a single coil guitar. I don't really like what they did with this one. It's a little bit too grainy. As a lead tone, it's okay. I mean, if I had to use it in a live situation, I would, but it's not the greatest. Dead metal. Okay, so this one is kind of like your thrash sound. Let's see what they're modeling here. It's a Dizzy VH, so they're using, I guess, a VHT of some sort with an overdrive. So this is like the Metallica sound. Why did they add so much delay to it? Maybe they just want you to do this part. Okay, but I don't get the delay, but anyway. Next, PH drive. This one, okay, another Friedman B100. Again, they've added a distortion in front of it. I don't get it. Oh, crap. Okay, that volume, the volume between patches thing doesn't really work for me, but anyway. This is pushing a little bit too wet. Yeah, I do use tones like this, but I would say that I would have to dial back the phaser a little bit. Kyoto Drive. So this one is supposed to be some kind of a Vox thing. This one's really nice. Maybe it's because the guy loves Vox, so so he does have an appreciation of how what the subtle nuances are supposed to come out of the Vox. Genty. Okay, so this one, obviously my guitar is only E flat, so it's not low enough for like a real gent sound. But so it's very gated. Surprisingly, it's based on a JCM 800. I don't know why they would do that, but heavy core. So this one is based on a Halen 50, so 5150. It's got that mid push to it, but it doesn't really sound like a 5150. Like it's missing. I don't even know how to explain it. There's something about a 5150 that doesn't sound like this. It's a little bit too MIDI, like it's not meaty, but like too much mids in the sense that it's got the mids in the wrong place. It's clear though. I mean, it's usable. It's just not. I mean, I've got tons of other 5150 packs that I can use, but this one's not it. Fusion. Soldano with a tube screamer. Usable, but you know, very generic. But I feel this one was better than the previous Soldano, whatever preset they had. Funky clean. already have a funky clean? Okay, so this one, instead of basing it on a jazz chords, it's based on a dark twin. Okay, so there we go. Middle position. So I guess this one they only gave you reverb. There's a boost and a compressor. Okay, so this one's the compressor one. So they didn't put in any other effects, just to, I guess, give you a more usable, funky, clean sound. Okay, cool. Warm jazz. I guess you can use this one instead of the other clean ones. Although the I would say that I would prefer the other clean ones that don't have the lower mids dialed in as much, and just use your tone. If you have a tone knob, obviously, right? If you have a tone knob on your guitar, just use that instead. It's okay. It's starting to lose a little bit of attack too early. I mean, not too early, as in it doesn't respond in the way that I would feel it. But it's only if you pick hard. If you pick lightly, but if you play hard, then the effect kind of comes in a little bit too early. Oh crap, this is even worse. This one's ambient, whatever this is supposed to be. I think this is probably some JC 120 thing. No, actually it's Tweed Deluxe with a whole bunch of chorus, delay, and reverb. This absolutely has no attack. Like I'm playing it like it's some toy kind of thing. Reason I feel any attack is because I'm using a speaker out here, and so I can still hear hear the acoustic sound of my guitar. But if this were like at stage volume, it's just a blur. Yeah, this is definitely no for me. The volume. I don't know why these guys didn't bother normalizing the volumes of their patches, but anyway. This is alt drive, so it's clean with the distortion pedal. I can't say I like this one, but I like it in this. But it's good in the sense that it captures that crappy distortion pedal sound. Like this is supposed to be a clean Twin Deluxe situation with a whatever JP distortion means, some kind of a distortion pedal, right? So it's that thing where like if I turned off the distortion pedal, like back to high school, all you had was that little distortion box. You brought it to school for your first kind of amped up gig. You're doing whatever grungy song you're doing, and you just wanted to do that moment where you stomp on the pedal and you're full drive. So that's what this does, which is kind of cool. It does also sound like it is pushing the speaker into breakup. I'm actually not redlining here, so this is actually the way that it's meant to sound. And when I was talking earlier about how a lot of the sounds seem compressed to the point where they don't let that happen, this one does. So this one's okay. Octave fuzz. This is awful. Is that even an octave? I feel the octave is off. Why is that? So, gray fuzz, okay, FX2. Pitch. High pitch, low pitch, dry. Okay, it's 2 octaves, so it's doing the 1 octave higher and 1 octave lower as well. What key was that song in? I don't think it's in A. Yeah, this one I think is probably just a lack of processing power, but somehow the one of the lower octave doesn't sound accurate. So if I play this, you can hear the lower octave is actually a little bit off. Let me try if I can just, I'm just going to try this. I'm going to try if I can use this as a pitch shifter and how badly it acts as a pitch shifter. So I'll turn the high off, and I'll turn the lower pitch to just -1 for now. Which is basically, because I'm in E flat, so I'll change this guitar to D. Oops. -1. Okay, done. I don't know. Let me do it. There we go. Done. Okay. And then dry. Yeah, see that's the signal you're getting from the. Okay, let's do low volume. Okay, high volume, low pitch, all the way 1. You hear the artifacting of the of your original tone. So this is actually unusable. Okay, so this is really bad. Okay, good old day. This is a Vox with vibrato, slap delay, and some kind of EQ thing. I don't know what to use with this type of tone. It sounds like very vintagey, meaning old. It sounds like that kind of thing where like you do like a lo-fi intro, and then you shut it off to go back into like your high fidelity sound. Maybe it'll be useful for some songs. Steps. What's this? These are the ones that these are the ones that really irk me, because it's like I understand what they're trying to do, but you lose the attack. They sacrifice the effect. They sacrifice your attack for the effect. Amount of wet effects in there is just a little bit ridiculous. Anyway, synth sequence. So what's this? It's a basement. Interesting. So it's the first time they're putting in the basement. This is getting to the point where I can't even feel my own playing. Like it's like I'm playing a note and then something's just gushing out at me, but it doesn't feel like I played the note at all. Yeah, it's a complete mess. So I guess this kind of thing you can only play like really slow. Can't even really get like a decent sound of this. Anyway, emo tap. Okay, so I guess this one is like the kind of thing where like you. This one's called Emo Core. Yeah, I don't know what to feel about this one. It's distorted, but it sorry, mouse dropped. But there's no attack. Like it's not distortion. Well, it is distortion, but it's like they call it dark mouse, so it's supposed to be a rat, I guess. But they've put a boost in front of it and also a compressor in front of it, and so you're left with this. It sounds okay, but there's a lag between when you're punching down on the string and the distortion and the fuzz coming at you. So you hear the attack, but the fuzz is a little bit late. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a little bit off compared to, say, using their previous models or using an amp model without adding so much stuff in front. Usable. You probably need to tweak the delay trails a little bit. It's a little bit aggressive. Truly love. This is a JCM 800. This is supposed to be like the I forgot what the name of that song is. The Steve Vai thing. Maybe it's that. Okay, noise wall. Aptly named. Not sure what it's for, but whatever. High Hope. This one's a Vox with a screamer. Is this supposed to be like a worship and praise solo type thing? Maybe. Match key, what's this? Okay, this sounds to me like it's a pitch shifter thing. Let's see. Tremolo, pitch shifter. Oh, okay, so it's a pitch shifter. I know it says major key, but I'm just trying to see what they're trying to do here, because the pitch shifting option here doesn't go by key. It's just high and low, right? So Um, kind of an odd setting. Not sure how you'd put that into application, but hey, creativity is the key here, right? Current. What's this? So this is supposed to be like a bassman with a pitch detune by 25 cents. Interesting. Memory. This one is a Vox again. This one just sounds like some kind of a delay thing. Yeah, it's just a ping pong delay. With some kind of phaser front? Of course. Too wet for my taste. Ottawa. So what's this? This one's an Ottawa? Okay, so didn't they have like another Ottawa earlier? I guess it's the same thing, but with a crap ton of reverb and delay. Almost unusable, to be honest. Humble. Is this supposed to be some kind of Dumble clone thing? So it's a Vox, clean Vox with just a chorus. Bordering too wet on the front end. So again, it's one of those ones where you lose kind of your attack. Hertz. Wow, okay. What's Friedman with a distortion front, which I thought they did already. Okay, so this one, if I remember correctly, the previous one where they did the same combination, they made it so that it was really harsh. I guess here they tweaked the EQ a bit so that it's not as harsh. Crap ton of distortion though. distortion, so you get a little bit more dynamics in terms of the. Noise gate is really tight in this one, but it's not a rhythm tone either. Yeah, it's gating to the point where it's not like even stuff like this. You need a little bit more, so I would turn down the noise gate a bit and then lower the distortion just a bit. Basic bass. Okay, I'm not playing bass here, but you know. Pick bass, okay. You know. Not that I have a bass to play with. Slap bass. Oh, this one's the slap bass. Bass drive. Bass cue. So there's a bunch of bass. So there's the last. Okay, so then we're back to one again. So the last 5 or 6, the last 5 are all bass, which is cool. I mean, if you have a bass, you know. All right, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I mean, it's notwithstanding. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to show you. So, on the Pocket Map, so this is the user preset one. What I have done here is, the cool thing about this device is you can actually just load neural amp modeler patches into this. So what I have here is I have a patch. This is one of Glenn Fricker's patches. I just added a bit of delay to it just for fun. You can EQ it as you want. What you cannot do is you can't have, so you don't use head only models. You can't use IRs while you're using the NAM patches. So it has to be, you know, whatever NAM patch that you choose. Let me just shut off the delay first. I have a few mixed in. So, for example, I have a 5151 here. So this sounds really bad, right? Because this was a amp head only patch. Now, if you want to use this one, you're going to have to run it through either a real amp, like in the effects loop, or you have a separate device just for the IR. This doesn't have enough power to do both at the same time. So this one, I think, is also just an amp patch. So I loaded 2 in just to show you. This is a Rev. So it sounds really, I'm not going to do it for this video, but if you A/B them against what you get from the actual NAM app. Oops, sorry, the actual NAM app in on your PC or as a plugin. They're very similar. There's a little bit of a treble roll off, which is why I have the EQ here. But I'm actually, the EQ is flat right now for this patch. Because I'll show that to you next time, but it's not too bad. Like I know they compress the file a little bit for the purposes of the device. Also have a, what's this one's? Oh, this one's a Sodano. So obviously the levels aren't normalized because from different creators they'll have their patches at different volumes. So this one is a little bit low. Let me just dick around with that and show you what happens. Anyway, I'll relearn the song. And then if I take off the effects, the delay. So this is the NAM version, and then I guess let me just show you how it sounds compared to, say, if I just went with their 5150. What it is? Amp. Sorry, basic. Their 5150 is. My bad. No IR, sorry. Let me add an IR. So theirs isn't bad, but it just doesn't have that, as I said earlier, like theirs is kind of like squished at the top, but then, you know, really low bottom end. Whereas mine is more like this. Let me just redo the preset. I should have just saved it and did an A/B, but anyway. It is what it is. some of you might think that this is very trebly, but remember, I'm using a Jazz Master here, right? Like, I'm not running a you know, like let me just grab a Les Paul and you'll see what the difference is. So if you, let me just make sure this is in tune. Well, you know, the G string. So this is my patch, and then if you go to their patches, let's just say we try their Soldano or their or even their what do you call it, 5150, you'll hear the difference. Like, it's not as clear. So again, basic Soldano. Let's just try their Soldano first with a large cab Sol. See how muffled it is? Like, it's you lose all of the definition in the try say the man, well, so now lead. I should have done that first, sorry. So this is their Soldano lead channel. It's just very, very boomy. And then here's their 5150 channel. And then okay, IR. I can almost not even hear the G. And when you're in the mix with that, it just becomes like a whole mush, right? So just switch back to the NAM profile, which would sound more or less like this. Now if I switch back to single coils, crystal clear, right? So there's just something about what they're doing with the high gain amps that just doesn't really It's just a little bit lacking. I guess you can EQ it a little bit, but otherwise it's generally usable. It's a pretty neat device. As I said, I would be happy with this just going out and if I needed to as like an emergency backup thing, this is more than sufficient. And the battery's great. You can use it with one of these things. Let me show you. I don't have this programmed for this particular device here. But if you get one of these things, then what you can do is you can actually make it into like a four switchable, four four foot four switch enabled device. You can program it in all types of ways. You can either use it as bank up, bank down, or you can even select, or you can program it so that each switch does a different thing. Like you can have like these two being bank up, bank down, and these two being kind of like your drive and delay triggers. Or you can just have one patch and use these as kind of like your scenes things, so that you click on this one and it'll turn off your amp or turn off the IR, or it will well, not so much scenes, like just individual controls for different effects. So there's many ways you can program this. So I'd recommend getting one of these things if you're gonna get something like this, or even like the Valatin GP5 or whatever. Like this thing will really expand the use of this by a lot. So that's it. I think I've been streaming for like close to like a little more than an hour and a half now. Thank you for watching.